All right, rubber down today. We have Bohud Racing team owner Scott Jones. What a season. Let's get into it. On, man. Thanks for coming
Hey
on.
boys, what's happening? What's going on?
Living the dream. Somebody's,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
Not yours.
Why? What's wrong with mine? You don't want to know mine. It's got something to do
Yeah, I
with
don't
like,
wanna
Channing
know.
Tatum, Magic Mike. But anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scotty. Real quick, mate. Bohud Transport. That's the company that's all over Michael Stewart and your race car. What is Bohud Transport? How long's it been going, your business?
So Bohud's been going for about probably 10 years now.
Yep.
It sort of evolved from another business I had, transport business before that, which was sort of a family business, and then I went out on my own. So, started Bohud 10 years ago. We've probably got, 20 odd trucks.
What
Work along.
the word Bohud mean? Why Bohud?
So it's named after my kids. So my oldest boy is Bodie, and the youngest is Hudson. So it's just a make-up of the two names.
Binny, why haven't you done your research? We should have known that. Come on, mate.
You just told me yesterday that he was coming on, so didn't have much time.
Maybe if you answered your phone, for God's sakes. Anyway, all right, Scotty.
Problem.
Well, what's your history in motorsport, and like why sprint car racing leading up, prior to your history?
Yep. So when I was a kid, I sort of grew up at the Speedway at Parramatta. Dad's always crewed for some teams there racing. So he was with Garry Rush and Jack Hewitt, and when Donny Schatz was driving for Garry Rush, he was in with them. So I've always just followed him around the sport, I suppose. So sitting on the hill watching, and when I was a kid, I used to always say I want my own team to win. And anyway, once I got old enough, I made sure it happened.
Yeah, that's not a bad resume, eh, Binny? Oh, just Garry Rush, Donny Schatz.
Yeah.
Jeez, hey.
Yeah, they're tough people to please, mate, because they're used to winning all the time. You know what I mean? So
I was gonna say it's winning or don't show up in a fact of
Yeah.
that motorsport. So obviously that's where the relationship from JB.
Jay Barrett, yeah. So sort of always growing up, I used to play golf with JB on a Sunday. So we'd race, or they'd race on a Saturday night, and then Dad and JB would play golf on a Sunday, and I'd always go play golf with them. So I've known JB for a long time.
Golf. That's a thing for you?
Yeah.
You like a bit of golf?
Oh, I used to play when I was younger. I don't play too much now. Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to maybe play you some money. I'm not too bad.
Oh, really?
I got down to 12. 10.
Geez, that's
10
all
or
right.
12.
Not bad.
And then got the Tom Hanks. Just shanked everything and then gave it up. So
Yeah, that's me.
yeah. So
It's a tough game, that one, mate. Real tough game.
yeah, it's really hard. So with that, how'd your father get involved with 10-time Australian champion Garry Rush and the Pig Payless deal? Like, where's that background come from as well?
So Dad was and his brothers used to have a limited sprint car when they were younger. Used to race at Kembla Grange, a track in Wollongong.
Mm-hmm.
So they raced there, and then Dad went to crew for Scruff Donaldson when Jack Hewitt come out here, and done a bit of travelling with them. And then when Jack went home, he sort of said, "Oh, I want somewhere else to work." And Scruff knew Garry and said, "Oh, I'll put a word in for you." So, and it went from there, I think.
Jack Hewitt, what a wildcat he seemed like. What was he like
Yeah.
to deal with?
I was only really young when he was over here, so I just remember the cool truck and the race car sitting on top of the trailer and stuff like that. He come around
That
home
was
for a barbecue.
gnarly. Hey, that was
Yeah.
gnarly. Something different in that truck.
But he come around home for some barbecues and stuff when I was younger and stuff. Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
Have you seen the clip of him at Eldora going at an official?
Yeah.
Oh. He can kiss, man. And if he gets a chance, he go and do. How are you, Jack? I'm good. Cuss fine. Oh. Sport. Yeah, go, Binny. Shoot.
Yeah. What's the process like for someone that is coming into the sport to start up a team? Like, is it a difficult process to get a team started, or is it pretty simple?
No, it definitely wasn't easy because no one tells you anything. So I raced remote control probably 15 years. And I was sort of used to that process where if I wanted to find out a setup or something, I could go online and a pro driver would put a setup online for you to try. if you need to know certain settings, they could help you with all that sort of stuff, or part numbers, even to buy parts. But when I started, I was buying stuff, didn't even know what it was. I was just lucky I had a mate that worked at QSS, and I sent him pictures saying, "Hey, I need some of these," and then he'd tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Like obviously my dad knew a fair bit, which helps, but at the time when we started the team, he was still working full time. So I was sort of just doing it during the night. I'd be on my iPad of a night, just trying to order parts and work out what I needed and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it's easy to set up, definitely not. Yeah.
What was that first night like as a team? Like, was it a night of sort of just trialing things and seeing where you go, or was it you knew you were going to go out there and be competitive, or just sit at the back and sort of see where the night takes you?
Yeah. So our first night, we started with Mark Blyton in the car. We had the car ready. We'd built a new car for that season. We knew the motor was good. We'd run it a few times at the yard and started it and stuff. And I suppose our aim at the start of the night was just to try and make the main, you know what I mean? Which we'd done that in our first night, and I think we finished maybe 12th or 13th or something. But that was a huge accomplishment. I was stoked just to make the eight. I remember a video and as I was doing the 4 wide because I don't know, I like the 4 wide when they do that at the start of the feature.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it was a cool experience. Yeah.
So from your point of like you're on an iPad putting a sprint car together by the sounds of it like a Lego, like I'm building a sprint car, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So how did Mark Blyton go? You go, all right, we're putting Mark in the car. Like how did that relationship, or where was that thought from?
Yeah, so Dad and Mark have been good friends for a long time. Initially, we are going to do 2 races at the end of the previous season. We were almost ready, but they both got washed out, I think, from memory. So we didn't. So we had to start at the next season because our aim was to put Mark in for a few races, sort of feel our way a little bit, and then we're going to look for a young sort of driver to put in the car. When those 2 races at the end of the season didn't happen, Dad said, "Oh, let's put Mark in for next season and just feel our way a little bit." So we knew Mark wasn't going to go out there and tear our shit up and stuff like that, which is probably a big thing when you're starting out. You know what I mean? You just want to ease your way into it and sort of learn the craft a little bit. So Dad hadn't done anything for a while. At that time, JB wasn't helping at the start either. So we're just sort of trying to feel our way a little bit, to be honest.
That's what I was going to say. Like, can you imagine how nerve-wracking it is? You like put all this money behind a race team, and you're like, "Oh, please don't wreck it all. I just started." Like, it's not you. It's not like you can go out there, turn one Scotty, and just go, "Oh, I tore it up. Here's the checkbook."
Nah.
Like, to that guy, like, well, thanks, mate. There goes the chassis.
Yeah, and we didn't have a heap of gear to start with either. Like,
yeah.
I sort of was buying. I don't know. My plan was to buy parts each month and build a team up.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Boxing Day. I bought a team, the whole team, kit and caboodle, sort of from Queensland.
Like a buyout type deal, yeah.
Yeah, buyout, and it worked out really well. They come with a couple of chassis, like 5 or 6 top wings. At the time, you couldn't get wings, so everything, things through COVID, it was hard to get parts and stuff.
Yep.
So it come with tyres, it come with rims. It just had heaps of spares, which was good. And it sort of gave us a bit of a leg up, and then until we sort of worked our way through that, what to keep, what to get rid of, things like that.
Yeah, like complete buyout sort of gives you a base, hey, instead of like going, "Oh, I've got a car now. Oh, I don't have a bike or a quad or a truck or a trailer." It's like, all right, let's just grab everything and then work out what's good or what's not in a way.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and it's just all those little things you have in the trailer that you don't think of, but you need on a night, you know what I mean? So I already had the trailer. I bought that earlier on. That was probably the second thing I purchased.
Yeah.
I bought the quad. Quad was actually the first thing I bought. I found one in Northern Territory, and I was like, I said to my dad, "I bought this quad," and he goes, "What do you mean?" "Oh, it's all right. It'll be good." So look at it. Looks good. So we bought it, and then just went from there. Bought the trailer next, and then started fitting the trailer out, and then the kids stopped me into the wife what I was doing. Just it all happened pretty quick, you know what I mean?
What's all this stuff out the back?
It was perfect because COVID was happening. Kids weren't at school, so my wife, we worked together. She didn't go to work for, I don't know, 9 months, I reckon.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, like what I wanted to do, and she wanted to build a house, and I'm like, "Yeah, sweet, you can build your house, but I want a race team." As soon as she said yes, that was it. I just started buying. But it didn't really.
I bet you didn't know how much a race team costs.
No. Oh, she's got me back with the house. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. But I bet. Oh, I want a new kitchen. Oh, how's that chassis looking? Yeah, okay. Well, What?
Yes.
Real quick, running a transport company. What was that like during COVID? Like, you would have felt like sometimes I'm the only person working right now. Or like, got stuff going, or you're at home, but then you've got so much out in the road still when no one else had stuff on the road.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. because initially when it all started happening, we thought we were going to be at home as well, not doing anything. Because like we do a lot of building products and gravel and sort of fertilizers and grains and stuff.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh, we're not going to be doing anything. And then I sort of thought like we're going to have not heaps of time, but I was sort of saying to people at work, like, well, just as long as we can get through this, we'll be okay. You know what I mean? We'll be right. And it just turned the other way around. It was probably the busiest I've ever been. Fuel come to like under $1 a litre. And it didn't matter what we'd done. Every single day you made money because fuel was so cheap. There was no traffic on the road. So like we do a lot of work in Sydney. Instead of that truck doing 4 loads for the day, it used to do 7 because there's no traffic anywhere.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was chaos, you know what I mean? And the boys in the workshop, they're like, well, work's busy. We don't know how long this is going to last. So they started doing the maintenance on the weekends instead of during the week. So the trucks just worked flat out Monday to Friday.
And they got nothing else to do on the weekend.
And everyone was stoked.
Yeah,
and everyone was stoked just to be going to work because they didn't have to sit at home, you know what I mean? And it worked out really well. And to be honest, that's what allowed me to build a team because I had excess funds there at the time and too much time on my hands, you know what I mean? Had too many things to think about. I was just like, oh, what am I going to do? Let's do this now.
So did that also open up new, like, business for you? Like you transporting different stuff? Or no, it still stayed the same?
No, it stayed the same. A lot of businesses grew in that period. But I had when we had a family business, we had probably 40 odd trucks and probably 80 employees. I don't want to go back to that. It doesn't interest me. Not now that I've got kids, you know what I mean? Maybe when they get older, I'll think about it. But I like the sides business I have now. It makes, I'm like, I don't have to work weekends very often. Like I'm on the phone all the time. Like that's just part of the job.
Sure.
But I can be present at home during the week and stuff, which is good. Where before I'd be on call 24/7. It was tough before, so I didn't want to go back to that. So
even watching you when you're away racing, you're like, oh, I've been on the phone all morning. Something happened. I got this, and I'm always working in the laptop, like the back of the truck. Oh, I'm just doing work. Yeah. And that's probably my own detriment, I suppose. I created the business around me, so I don't have other people to go do the allocations while I'm away or to do the payroll like that. I've still got to do that. So sure.
When you go spend 2 weeks on the road somewhere, I've got my ass hanging out. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. So, like starting a business, did you treat the race team as like starting a business? Is that similar or no? It's like we're just going racing.
No, definitely. I sort of I don't know. I had a budget in place of what I wanted to spend, and then I sort of had a goal that I needed to bring sponsors into the sport and into the team.
Yep.
So I reached out to marketing people to get marketing proposals done, like things I didn't know how to do. I went and hired someone to do it. You know what I mean? And then a lot of I suppose the sponsor stuff were just contacts. Mostly were contacts I had.
You already knew the person. Hey,
already
want to be on it?
Yeah, that's it. And people that sort of known me for a long time, knew what I wanted to do for a long time. So they're like, yeah, sweet, you've been talking about this for ages. Yeah, we'll help you out.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
They've stayed on, which has been really good.
Yeah, and like, obviously being a race team that's been successful this year, results do help sponsors a lot, don't they? Like from now, probably. You've seen it like, oh, you're interested in my car now, are you?
Results always help, but we sort of found in our first season or so, like they were just happy that the fact that we were doing posts all the time and tagging them in it, and they thought they were getting really good coverage for that. Where a lot of teams probably don't spend any time doing that stuff, which I can understand. Unless you sort of get someone to do it for you, you don't have time to do it. Like it's really hard. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It is a lot of a thing. Like from when I started just doing social media on my own, it was like, well, I want to be in everyone's face all the time. Not to annoy them, but just, who is this guy posting all the time? And it's the same as a race team. Like, you're going to probably buy that guy's shirt if you know a bit about him, or just, even if their results aren't as good, you're like, hey, he seems like a really good guy and he's having a red hot crack. I'm going to buy that shirt. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, like me too. Like, I'm still a fan at heart. Like, I'll give it a shout out to, I don't care. Logan Schuhart's socials are fire right now. Like, they always pop up on my shit. I'm like, yep, watching that. Because I just know it's going to be good. Or I like him as a dude. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he's really cool.
For sure, 100%.
So, and I seen him playing the Outlaws Binny in his truck once. He plays a game.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, but they were parked outside one night in a washout, and they have a little door in the back of their truck. They play Outlaws. And I was like, oh, that's gangster. So that's cool. Yeah. So, well, let's get into Michael's relationship and yours. How did that happen? You said you're always looking for a driver. How did he come on the radar?
Yeah, so my dad and I have obviously talked all the time about what I wanted to do and who we were thinking about putting in the car and all this sort of stuff. And Michael's name come up a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I think I went to watch the opening night at Eastern Creek, and I'd already purchased the car at that stage, but I wasn't ready yet. I just had it sign written and stuff like that in our like company colours.
Yeah.
And then I ended up texting my dad. He wasn't there that night, and I said, "Oh, who's this guy in a '95 car?" And he's like, "Oh, that's Michael Stewart." It's like the car wasn't, the car wasn't as good as what Havili's cars and all them sort of guys was, but he was sort of taken. He was
in
a
a
really good run.
410 sprint car that night, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And then I sort of started doing a bit of research, and then I realised the last season he'd done at Parramatta, he would have finished third, I think, in the track championship, but he missed the last round, and then ended up finishing seventh or something. The team folded.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was like, this guy finished third in that series against some really hot shots, like Sam Walsh was really quick back then, and the Dunsneys and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, so he sort of just stayed on the radar, and then Blido actually got hurt. He drove a wingless, I think, at Goulburn.
Yep.
And he rang me on a Thursday and said, "Hey, like, I've got knocked out. I can't race this weekend."
Mm-hmm.
So then we're like, well, shit, what are we going to do? And I ended up talking to Daniel, who was looking after my marketing and stuff. And I was like,
yep.
He'd heard that my Blido had been hurt as well. And I was actually at the gym, and I come out of the gym, I had like 6 missed phone calls from Blido, from Daniel, from my dad. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And found out what was going on. And he's like, "Oh, I'll get you Michael's number." So I rang Michael, and I said, "Hey, I want someone to drive my car on Saturday." And he's like, "Oh, I've got the kids this weekend." He said, "My wife's going to I think she was going to a hens party or something."
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, let me get back to you." And anyway, he must have rang his old man. His old man's like, "You have to take this. I have to do it." You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
So virtually met him at the track on Saturday. He turned up with his seat, and we put his seat in the car, and he finished sixth, I think, first night. And straight away, my old man's like, "You got to sign this guy now." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not running 2 cars." Like,
yeah.
I'm a man of my word, and I said to Blido the car was his for the season. So
I
said to Michael, I said, "Hey, I'll build you a second car for Christmas," and I said, "I'll run you over Chrissy," because I knew he was doing his midget stuff, and I said, "But next season you're in the car." And then I think Blido done another 2 or 3 races for us, and he was still struggling a little bit after his accident, and he just said, "Hey, you better put this kid back in the car now." So we did. We got our first win, I think, in February of that end of that season. So
what was that like as a team that's sort of just come in and stuff like that?
Oh, it was crazy because I know how hard it is. Like, especially now, I know how hard it is to win. But teams have been doing it for a long time and still haven't had a win. And sort of to come in and to do it, like, it was awesome. Like, super happy. JB, he doesn't get too emotional or too excited, but he gave me a hug that night and told me that I'm keeping him alive, and I was like, that was a pretty cool feeling. And my old man don't show much emotion either, and I just remember we drove home to the yard and we were leaving the workshop after the race meeting and just closing the gate up before we left, and I got back in the car and the old man's just like, "Fucking yes." I was like, just the way he said it, I was like, that's him getting excited, you know what I mean? So it was really, really cool. Yeah.
Well, like you said before, you work with like your dad, Donny, Schatz, Garry Rush, even JB. He's probably come into this going, "Yeah, I'm just happy to work back on race cars," like when he got back involved. But even now, like, you can see when, after a heat race and, you're doing those final things ready for a dash or an AMA, like, JB's up and he's walking around the car and he's talking to you, he's talking to Michael, and he talks with his hands as all the race car crew chiefs do, and he's like a little bit like this or you go like that, and then Michael starts doing that, and they look like they both can't talk. If you were like 100 metres back, they're doing like a DJ dance to each other. But that's just race cars, like, you know what they're talking about. But that, how did, like JB going from, okay, come check it out, to now, like, he's there every week and he's a crucial part of the team again?
Yeah, definitely. Like, so initially we sort of almost felt like that had to convince him, you know what I mean? He's just like, come down and see what he's got. Come down and see what he's got. And he's like, "Oh, yeah. Like, anyway, and he finally come down. And then when he come down, he's obviously seen that we had the trailer decked out and we had spare cars and we had and all the gear was there that we needed to go racing.
You were real having
100%. And then once he sort of, I gave him some shirts and stuff, like we had some Bohud Racing shirts made up and some hats and jackets and stuff, and I gave him sort of a bit of like a care package, I suppose, and sort of said, "Hey, take this home," and he just said, he goes, "Oh, you got a good team here," and I was like, "Oh," and I said to Dad about it when I got back, he goes, "Oh, he's giving you a massive pat on the back because he doesn't do that," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and then that's like, then he tells you he's keeping him alive, mate, which is pretty cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's a crucial part of, racing in New South Wales and Australia, that you're
for sure
coming to the track. There is a lot of legends in the sport, and when they, some people are a bit mean and rude and say, oh, they're old school. That doesn't work anymore. But at the end of the day, they're race car crew chiefs and they get the job done and evolve. A lot of them do evolve, which don't. 100%. I feel like these days people don't give them a crack because they're like, that's back in the day. But watching and being around you guys, like JB is just crucial. I feel like you guys, just pure communication. Like how he talks to Michael, it's like they go in their own world and just talk. Like he listens to what Michael says, then bounces back. It's not like he's telling Michael what he's seeing or Michael's feeling it wrong, but it feels like he can adapt with the driver how they communicate really well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like
and just on their level.
Yeah, and just the way he watches the car and stuff, and then he'll give you feedback about, see, the car was doing this, and like I think the second season where we had to travel to Toowoomba all the time, I drove in the car and JB sat next to me the whole time. And just the stuff he'd tell you, you try and be a sponge, you know what I mean? Just take in whatever he'll give you. Yeah. So.
Well, that was like when we were at Nowra, the same thing. We're sitting there and I'm like tired doing the commentary. And like you said, he's old school. He don't say much. But when he does, he's like, he means he respects you or like he just likes your time or whatever. Yep. And he goes, you're going all right, coach. You're going all right. And I went,
and like that.
I was like, man, you've seen some commentators, haven't you? I said to him, he goes, yeah. You're doing all right. You know your stuff. Good job. Keep it up. And I was like, let's go.
Yeah,
made my weekend, bro.
Yeah, it seems like a little thing, but for someone like him, that's a massive compliment. You know what I mean? For him to acknowledge what you're doing, he's it's really good.
Yeah. And I do love being a sponge around you guys as a team because I want to touch on that. You guys have the biggest team in probably sprint car racing. You guys, but I love it. You're decked out. You all get along so well. They don't have to be there all the time, but you can tell that they want to be there because they have a bit of FOMO. Like, hey, we can go really good tonight, but we're just good guys. Have a beer after racing. How did the team go from, you and your dad, JB, and now you got like all the boys on there? And what are their roles? Like, if you want to go through their names and just give them a shout, because I love the race team. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, well, I suppose other than JB, we didn't go and ask anyone to be part of it. Everyone wanted to be part of it, you know what I mean? And when we said we were doing it, like, I got Greg that works for me. He works in the workshop and he sort of runs my flat top division and stuff. And he's like, oh, I want to come. So he drives the truck for us all the time. Yeah. Well, my dad drives as well sometimes, but most of the time Greg drives anywhere we go. So yeah, he drives the truck and helps out with the car and preparation and all that sort of stuff and doing tyres and things. And then we got Dad's best mate, Swanee. He's on the team.
The goat.
Yeah, the goat. What is he? OAM or whatever they call him, where you got that medal, Australia Order medal, what do they call it? Order of Australia medal. That's him.
Did he really?
Yeah, you have to get him a show. He always wears it. It's underneath his shirt.
Legend. That guy's pure morale of a race team.
Oh, he's funny guy.
Simple, doesn't do I'm here to clean it. I'll give you a hand, but he's just there and he's loving it. It's awesome. Yeah,
so, and then when I was a kid, like, I used to sit on the hill. He used to sit on the hill with me because I wasn't allowed in the pits. So Dad would go work in the pits and me and Swanee would sit on the hill. So I always tell him, like, I owe him heaps, you know what I mean? Because just who'd want to sit there with a kid and sit there with a little kid mate all the time? But he did, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So he's twin boys help on the crew.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So the big boys. So we know if we ever get into a fight, we're sorted because Brett and Tim are absolute monsters.
Yeah.
So we're sort of that department, and then I got my best mate Matt. He's on the team as well.
Mm-hmm.
And and then we got Michael's dad Chris. He's on the team, so Chris sort of looks after the tyres and stuff now. Dad does a setup. Him and JB obviously talk which way they're going, thing, and I sort of look after the shocks and the fuel. So.
How is it like having all those guys, like you said, guys have big roles, like important roles, like you said, Chris does tyres, you do the shocks, JB and your dad do the setups and that, but what about the other boys? Like, sometimes, it can be there's too many people around here, but like, it feel like you're never in each other's way. Like, how did that, like, when someone's new, how do you sort of welcome them into a race team? Because I feel like a lot of people want to work on race teams, but they're a bit scared because they get turned down or whatever like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just probably because we're pretty relaxed most of the time, you know what I mean? Like, we're there doing it for fun. Like, it's a hobby for us. It's nothing more than that, I guess. Like, we take our racing seriously, but at the end of the day, we're there to have fun and we sort of joke around and stuff like that. So I think we've got our core jobs. The other guys are mostly either just cleaning, but if we need a hand and say, hey, I haven't done fuel yet, can you do the fuel while I go test this shock? We know someone's going to go do the fuel, you know what I mean? Just things like that, just sort of keeping an eye on things. And JB just pretty much just keeps an eye on things. Just goes, hey, did someone check that left rear to be tight yet? Yeah, it's been checked, or it hasn't. You know what I mean? Things like that. Yeah, everyone's sort of just looking out for what everyone's doing, and yeah, like I say, we do have a lot of people there, but I don't know, makes it fun when you go away or something. Makes it heaps easier as far as cleaning the car goes, things like that. Yeah, all those sort of jobs get done real quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, you would have. There's a lot of maintenance on the road, but you guys have got to sort it. There's a lot of hands on deck for maintenance.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What's it like with rolling up to a track now, and obviously with all your success at Sydney at the moment, having all those eyes on your team and having the pressure when you get to a track to perform. Obviously, a lot of people sort of sit there and say, "You're a Sydney team. That's the only track you can run." But you have had a couple of really strong performances up at Toowoomba. So, how do you guys handle that and the eyes on you guys every time you roll into a track?
Oh, most of the time they got their eyes on our Peterbilt, to be honest with you. That's what it feels like. Everyone just banging on about, oh, check out their truck, you know what I mean? But no, we don't sort of get too worried about it, you know what I mean? There's a big, I don't know, stigma around Sydney, I suppose, where they don't think you can run, but I think we proved that when we went to Toowoomba last time. Matty Dumsney was up the front, we were up the front. Ian Madsen went and done the Easter Trail. He finished second to Veerley. Like, it's no easy feat coming to Sydney. And we proved that this year when they come there. I don't think any of other than Cole Macedo, no one else won in Sydney from out of town. So, I don't think it's a pressure anymore. It's more just for us. It's just trying to learn the different tracks. That's probably where we need to work a bit harder, I think. Just going to different tracks and just learning setups. We've been to Toowoomba a few times now, so we've got a good grasp up there. But no, I think the most nervous thing of the night is just making sure the car starts. That's my hardest part of the night. As soon as the car starts, I'm like, oh, we're sweet.
I mean, yeah, that is like pretty important. So,
it's not like you can just turn the key on and start it somewhere before you get into the trailer, you know what I mean? Or in the pits, you can't do that. Like, you do all this work during the week, and then you're like, oh, shit, I hope this thing starts.
Yeah, because there's a lot of maintenance that goes into it. Well, real quick there, can you let's say you're racing Saturday this week, and let's say there was another Saturday race meeting, as a car owner, and obviously your dad helps you with the car and that, what is that week look like for you guys?
So Dad's pretty much full-time in the workshop now, as far as looking after the car. We sort of initially didn't start like, because Dad's got his own truck as well, which he used to just drive himself. But probably, I think halfway through our second season, he blew a motor in his truck, and it took like about 4 or 5 months to get parts.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, why are you waiting for parts? You just look after the race car, and I can concentrate doing a bit more work. I was sort of trying to burn the candle at both ends. I was doing maintenance of the night time of the race car, go home, have dinner, and come back. It's just getting hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after that 4 months, I'm like, you're not going back in your truck, mate. Like, you got to stay here. It's just so much better. So yeah, we never wash on a weekend. We always wash Monday morning. So we wash the car Monday morning. It's usually finished by lunchtime. Then we'll service the motor Tuesday morning, service all the bars, all that sort of stuff. And then the rest of the week's probably just doing other sort of maintenance. Just could be fitting tyres or repair and stuff, getting another car. Like, we've always had 2 cars ready to go. So sometimes if we've got a back-to-back night, we'll just run a different car. They're both the same. Just easier for us, you know what I mean?
That, I would say, like, this year I feel like, Binny, you will probably agree with this, the travelling we've done and knowing there's a lot of teams now with full-time guys, like, it is your dad still, but he is full-time on the race car.
100%. Yeah.
You know, like, how relaxing, but, you know, you've only had, I would say, I think this year, maybe 2 mechanical DNFs. Like, you haven't had a lot. And I feel like, you know, like in Perth, we've seen maybe 1 full-time team have a DNF or DNS or whatever. But can sometimes, when you are relaxing doing it, can you sometimes get in that complacent, like, did I do that? Oh, it'll be okay. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think now that because Dad's there all week, he could be just looking at that car and go, oh, I'm going to check this while I'm here. Where if you're doing it, I don't know, if you just do maintenance once or twice a week, you're just going through a certain process. If you don't think to check something that you don't ever check, where he's checking every single thing because he's got time to, you know what I mean? And like, we'll be looking at things going, oh, we need to change the angle of this or whatever, and just testing different stuff and, you know what I mean, just things so we're more prepared. So, yeah, I think we've only had, I'd say, a couple of mechanical DNFs, which one was a mag box failed. We had a motor issue one night, so it's not a lot, you know what I mean? Where I think in our first sort of season or so, we had a couple of mechanical DNFs where just I don't know, you just miss some in maintenance, and
Yeah,
you're just like,
that's
oh.
what I mean.
And that's like really frustrating. Then you're like, oh, I should have got that, I should have done that. But when you're working Monday to Friday, and then you're going home having dinner and coming back and working on the race car over night time, trying to get ready for that weekend, like, of course things are going to get missed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I say the same as like when I'm editing or doing all this stuff. Like I wanted more clips ready today, and I'm like, oh, and I tried to do it 20 minutes before, and the laptop was flat, and I was like, you know, okay, stuff you. You're not doing that today. It's over.
Yeah.
Hero out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
My old boy says all the time, mate. Like the races are won in the workshop. You know what I mean? So
100%.
that's where all the hard work's done. It's done in the workshop, and I don't know. I suppose this year it sort of showed for us, I guess.
What's it been like winning that much? I know it sounds weird, and I don't mean to sound smug, but like you've nearly won the most. Woody, besides McHugh and McFadden, I'd say as an Australian sprint car team, you've probably up there with top 3, top 4 most feature race wins this year. Like it's what, 9? 9 total? Like Canberra plus Sydney?
I think we had 6 at Sydney plus Canberra. There's 7. I think it's been 7 wins. Then obviously the overall at Adelaide, I suppose.
Yeah. Which we'll get into, but
yeah,
it's still
but it's been
like, you know, I feel like when you guys run third, you're there going.
Oh,
it's addictive winning, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think Michael and I are probably a little bit same temperament. Like we'll win a race some nights and then go, "We're not that good tonight. We should have won." You know what I mean? Like I think our last race we ran at Sydney, we sort of won because Madsen had an issue and Matt Dumsey had an issue, and like we're like, what are we missing the setup of this thing? And that's all we'll talk about. But we probably should enjoy it a bit more. But that's just how we are. You know what I mean? We just try and work out how we can be better for next time.
That's also been realistic too. Like we even say like. Last night at Sydney, it was Matt Dumsey and Ian Madsen. Everyone else was racing for third. Like
100%. Yeah,
that's how far paced they were, and it was like, oh my god. And then mechanicals, crashes. But then you were the next best car, so it was like
and you got to pick up there because like we've had nights where we've been the best car and we've crashed out or had an issue or we run out of fuel or whatever. Like I don't know, you got to take them when they're there, but you always got to try and get better as well. You're like. I don't know. I remember talking to JB in the car one trip to Toowoomba, and he's like, "I've only ever had the car perfect once." I go, "What do you mean? Like, how many races have you done?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Garry told me one night, and I think he said they were at Mount Gambier or something, and he said that car's perfect." He goes, "That's the most perfect race car I've ever had in my life." And he goes, "You only ever said that to him once." I'm like, "You've won so many Australian championships, and you're telling me you only had a good car once?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Holy shit!" And I understand it, you know what I mean? Because you always can make the thing better, always.
Yeah, 100%. That's gnarly. Oh, just once, mate.
Yeah, and it was like the Winfield car or something. Like it was
a red rushy car.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Castrol. There you go. Go Rush for Edits. The car was never good after that. Just an A1 car, never perfect, apparently. So that's cool. Binny, we've talked about it, and it's always a touchy subject for us. And Scotty, you have been at this venue a lot this year, but what has it been like as a team owner at Sydney National Speedway this year?
Oh, I quite like Sydney personally.
I mean, we do too. We think it's awesome, but there have been, a lot of...
Yeah, like we've obviously had issues at the start of the season with tyre wear. And I don't know, some people were just throwing tyres at them. Really, like just every run they throw a set of tyres at them. We probably didn't do that as much. I think at the start of the season, when they had that 2-tyre limit rule for the right rear, that was actually pretty good because when you got to if you made the dash, you had no tyre left, which is fine. You're only going to start the first 3 rows anyway.
Yeah.
But once they sort of got rid of that, then people just started throwing more tyres at it, which I think made it worse. And I think that's right now we haven't got cars where the track's been pretty good for tyres the last few meetings, but there's no cars. People are just out of money or just burnt with the place, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's, people over those 10K periods going, we need to win these 10Ks because it's been an expensive year so far. And you burn all your, your big season chunk. But also, racing at this time of year, you're either limited on parts, motors have done probably too many laps, so you are pushing your season out going, just get through, please. I don't want this thing to pop.
Yeah.
Because most people
want to sort of race to end of Easter or what they're about. That should be their last weekend. Usually, that's how it normally works.
Yeah.
I think last year we raced into June or something, maybe which probably affected this year a little bit as well because them guys wouldn't have got their motors till later on. Then after that,
and
not every team's got more than one motor, which makes it hard. So Like Sydney's hard on motors. Like it's because the track's heavier again now. It's back to being a little bit of a motor track, so you need a decent motor.
Yeah.
When it's slick, I know it wears tyres, but you don't need a motor then either.
Yeah.
So you can sort of look at it both ways, I guess.
Well, it's happy medium. I don't think. Honestly, is there ever going to be a perfect dirt racing track? No.
Nah, never.
Depends
Definitely
if
not.
it's smaller and hooked up. It doesn't really do your motor. But Sydney's
Yeah.
built like the shape and heavy foot like a Perth is. When that place is
Yeah.
hooked up, that thing is like hooked. And so Sydney, you go, that thing is moving
Yeah.
way too fast. And
Yeah.
wow, so
Yeah.
as a team owner though, what's your thoughts on formats?
I always go back to because I'm a fan, so I want to see people race. So I think for club shows, I think it should be 2 heat races dash feature.
No qualifying.
No,
I agree.
who wants to sit through?
I like
who wants
more
to sit?
racing too.
Who,
Yeah.
who wants to sit through time trials if you're a fan? No one. I can understand when you get the big races because there's obviously more money on the line. You want to start up front, all that sort of stuff. So that part I've got no problem with. But yeah, just for a normal club show, I think just 2 heat races dash feature. Make it simple. Everyone knows every week what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think it makes it better for the fans. I don't like sitting through time trials, especially at the start of the night.
Nah, and then the night needs to be short and sharp. You know what I mean? Like I remember, I think for the first few seasons at Sydney, we wouldn't finish till midnight. If my wife took the kids there, they weren't allowed in the pits till after the meeting. They'd get home at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'd get home about 2:30, 3.
Yeah.
Like they're nowhere the next day. And then you say, "Oh, you want to come next week?" No, we'll give it a week off, eh? Like
Yeah.
it makes it makes it. And if that's my wife and kids doing that, and they got a team, imagine all the people who are just going there to spectate doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it makes it hard to get people there every week. You just need a sort of short, sharp.
Well, with qualifying
show.
with the small amount of cars, they're the top. You pretty much before time trials roll out, you know who's going to go quick time. They're always up in front. But these big shows, when you got like 16 guys that can win, yeah, time trials like, ooh, that guy missed it tonight. Oh, that guy had a great qualifying.
Yeah.
Like, so that guy's deep now. And that is where I like qualifying at the really big shows. But I agree, like,
I agree.
when you got a 20 car field and below, or even like maybe 25, if you could push it up, just like seed them, run them, invert them, go. Because we need the track to wear away with more laps on it.
That's right. Yeah, definitely.
So, what about gear though this year? Like it has been a bit rough on gear, the wings and the rocks, and like has that always from the start, or it's just purely as the season's worn on and the track's worn away, it's been getting progressively a bit harder?
It's been like that from the start of the season. So we done practice with a brand new car, brand new body, brand new wings, and that top wing only you done that one night. That was it. It was destroyed.
Whoa, that
just
right
some
sideboard.
rocks.
Sideboard?
Yeah, but even the center sideboards that have like holes the size of your fists through them. Like,
whoa.
Yeah. Like we've patched that wing up now and used it for the end of the season because to be honest, we just run out of wings. Like we're just gone. I had a look today outside and there's probably half a dozen front wings, and not from being hit. It's just from damage from rocks and stuff like that. It is hard on the cars. Like Greg that works for me, he repairs all our bodies and stuff because he's a pedal beater by trade. But like if we didn't have that, like you'd have to go get another body or send it away all the time to get fixed. Like it is really hard. Yeah,
for sure. Binny, with travelling, right? We've gone to Perth and that this year. What do you think? Like getting more teams around the country, Binny. Like you've seen it. Like we've gone to Perth, we've gone here, we've gone there. Like what are your thoughts on the schedule of the travel, or should we link it up better, or is there a spot in that big period for an East Coast series after High Limit?
Yeah, I think it's with Sydney obviously not being around for those couple of seasons while Eastern Creek was being built. I think it's really caused a bit of a problem with where we can fit a big race in and get all those big names here. Saying that, I think there is a little bit of room for people to sort of, I guess, the tracks discuss and get around how they can run it so that everyone gets the best numbers at every event. obviously that high limits event is massive, and not a lot of teams from the East Coast would get over there because it is a big commitment to get over there. But I think, just the tracks linking up a little bit better to get everyone getting the best numbers, because in the end of the day, we all want the sport to succeed. It's not about one track being the best. Like, Perth has high limits, but I'm sure every other track can get just as many numbers at their events throughout the season. So,
all right, I'm going to pitch you both an idea here. All right, Scotty, you might be like, oh, that's not too bad. All right, so you got high limit Perth, right? Let's not add that in. That's its own thing, because the odds of the East Coast teams going there then coming back is very small at the moment. Just because it is the next expensive bit is Classic Queensland. Like, it already is expensive if you don't go to Perth. So what about if after high limit, though, we still started originally like it at T-Bar, but it's still that 2-3 night show. Then you come to like down to Sydney, 2-3 night show, and it finishes at Avalon like as the President's Cup, or even borderline, like it still does, and that becomes but each night is still a round in the series. Not so-called just, the 2-night show is one round. Like, so you got Toowoomba, 1 round, 2 round, Sydney, 3, 4, 5, 6 at like Avalon and that. That's still you start small, it's a 6-round series, but that period of we're all watching and travelling, you could fit a series in there before the Classic. Start it small and put all big juicy money behind it with like teams and sponsors, and then that does bring eyes to where the big show is anyway, and be like, to be honest, put the Classic as the grand final.
Yeah.
Make it 3 rounds or one big round with the points still. Like, nothing changes as a Classic, it's just points for a series is included in that. But I know they'll never do that, God forbid. But what do you think of that, Scotty? Like, starting smaller but still like giving that East Coast swing something else besides just, all the big names are racing here tonight.
Yeah, I think there's enough events where you could have a series anyway. Like, there's enough big shows where people go to. You could go, if you just called that part of the series, the events are already there. You know what I mean? Toowoomba has their races. Gladstone has a race now. You got Darwin starts the season up there. Like, there's a series there already. It's just a matter of putting those events together and getting someone to sort of organise it, I guess.
The supercars, they don't race every week. So September Chariots, round 1, a month later. Toowoomba, a month later. Like, that could maybe extend the series like supercars.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, there's plenty of options there, and then you can still have your little series as well. Yeah, I mean, not that they're little, but you can still do Speed Week down south over Christmas if you didn't want to go to high limit. You can have your East Coast series. There's heaps of different options, but you need someone who wants to get in and organise it, and it's going to take funding. Obviously, you're going to need the teams to put their hand up and put their money in their pocket and say, all right, we're going to help fund this series and get it going.
Well, the only thing about that mentality is, I feel like Perth would have like 4 to 5 teams that would do it easy, but they've built their thing now with COVID. Like, your business is COVID, boom. So they've took COVID as well. Like, no one can come race here. Well, let's just make it here. And so that is like one of the things where I definitely don't want the Perth series to dwindle. I mean, other people will say, winning a national series, the Perth series can die a bit. But no, like, it's going so well. It's probably the most watched thing around Australia for sprint car racing on free to air. You can't touch that. Like, we've got to work with that.
And it's a fantastic series, you know what I mean? Like, to be honest, I think a lot of the people on the East Coast are jealous they don't live closer to the West Coast. It's just that it's so far away. That's what makes it hard for our teams like us. It's not a simple trip to go over there and go race for a few nights, you know what I mean?
Ever thought about leaving a car there?
If they had sheds there, or I could leave a container there, no problem. I'd leave a car there and just fly in when we were racing over here. And just, me and Michael and Dad and his old man and JB or whatever, fly over and go race and come home for the weekend. Do the maintenance on a Sunday.
I reckon they're going to get sheds soon, eh?
Like, if they had something like that, you'd do it for sure. Or, when I thought about like fitting out a 40-foot container or something and putting cars and some spares in there and set it over. The only problem would be you probably only have one motor spare because you need your other motors back here.
Yeah, like that.
Racing,
it becomes two race teams nearly, doesn't it? Like,
it does. Yeah. It's just the logistics of it. It makes it really hard. But Pino Priola used to do that years ago at at Parramatta. He used to race Friday night, I think, in WA and Saturday night in Parramatta. He used to do it forever. Just had two teams set up.
Peanut Good golfer. Very good golfer, actually. He's
Yeah.
He's not bad. He's not bad, eh, Binny?
Well, you're just not that good. One of the two.
Oh, he's been talking it up, mate. He's off 12, remember? I reckon we're going to have a golf challenge. We had a golf challenge at Warrnambool, actually, this year.
Oh, miss the invite.
Mate, who were you?
Actually, I was everywhere. Oh, where were you, Binny? Hey, don't turn on me. Where was Binny at Warrnambool? Where were you at Murray Bridge? What about that? It wasn't Code Man, it was Lone Man. Lone Man.
I'm not saying anything.
Mofo. Come on, Binny. I've gave you a massive list. Get on to the questions, brother.
Yeah, I've had a brain fart. All right.
Yeah.
The country rounds. You guys have obviously been to a lot of those this year. How do they compare to like your sort of big rounds at like Sydney and Warrnambool and Toowoomba and stuff like that?
They're definitely not the same size events, you know what I mean? But I really want to support the club and support New South Wales racing in New South Wales. And I think the best thing we can do there is go race at country tracks and have more tracks we can go to. Some of the teams can't afford the budget to go race at Sydney every week. Like it's a, 19 or 20 round series. Like it's a lot of races there to commit to doing a track championship or something. Where the country series, the Royal what they call it, Country Rumble or whatever it is, it's only sort of 6 or 7 rounds. It makes it easy for them to commit to. The country crowd are awesome. They really get behind the speedway. Like Canberra, the crowd there was really, really good. Nowra, the crowd was good this year. I'm still going to go to Dubbo because Dubbo is an awesome track. I wish we could grow that. I really do. I wish, I wish we could get probably some more money behind it so that way you get some other better cars turning up and stuff. Or, I don't know, maybe it needs to be a LS type series or something. Get more cars that way. Like New South Wales doesn't have an LS series. Maybe we need to do that for the country stuff.
That's not a bad idea. Because I'm sure a lot of Queensland guys would travel for more racing.
Well, I'm pretty sure Libby and stuff, they come down to Dubbo a couple of times when we race there, and they race with us with the 410s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it was at Canberra the first time we went there. Young Ashton Manif, he had the LS motor in, and he made the dash, and another guy from Victoria made the dash with an LS. So on them sort of tracks, like motors aren't everything for them sort of tracks, which is good. I think we need to try and grow that somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
But you need to get more eyes on it though. So like, if it's not big enough for pay per view, we need to stream it ourselves somehow via YouTube or something. So I don't know, maybe we have to go and invest in some cameras and hook it up to the commentary so people can see it.
Well, that was one of the things, like, when I got approached for the commentary gig, I was like, well, that's good. But if I don't film anything, I've said they become events lost in history. Like, oh, how was it? Oh, the photos look good. But that doesn't, to me, like, a photo doesn't get me to a new racetrack. I've got to watch it, I've got to see it, I've got to feel it, like, and that was my big thing. And like I said, shout out to Kim, helped me at Canberra, just it wasn't about me commentating, it was the opposite. We need footage of the night. And then I said, well, I don't just want cars going in circles, I want to try to tell people what's going on. And I thought Nowra was the same. I just had one of their guys help me out, so that was Ripper. But now people got to see, like, I thought Nowra was unreal. I had absolute no expectation because, one, I'd never seen it, and then I heard drivers say, oh, it's not going to be that good. That's why some drivers didn't do it, or East or whatever. But I was like, man, now it's awesome. Fast. Like, it held Sprintcars very good.
Yeah, if they had 20-odd cars at that track, it would have been an amazing feature race. Yeah. But it was good the time we went there before that as well. When we put Will in the car, Will Lucas for our car there the first time, the track was awesome, man, as well. Like, put on really good racing. So these country tracks do put on good racing. There's, smaller tracks where the motors aren't so important and stuff. Like, they do provide really good racing.
Well, it provides, like, a different style than you used to. Like an elbows up a game. Like, even though Canberra went rubber down, I did see the first time there, it was too wide on the top, but then this was like a game of chess. Which that's how that's how I look at Springcar racing. Yeah, it's a rubber down night, but it's like, who's going to make the error? Is he going to make error?
Yeah.
He's going to get to lap traffic eventually because it's too fast on the
Yeah.
rubber. Like, obviously, that night, the cautions were very lucky for the leaders. I felt like you guys definitely needed a caution that night. Like, you saw there, yellow.
Yeah.
And then
but even
it didn't open
know,
up.
But even when Jackson, he was in second following Ferguson, I think, for most of the race there, he had to make a move and he made it happen.
Yeah.
You can't just, it's not just follow the leader because it's rubber. It's like chess. You've got to sort of pick your moves and pick the right time to go.
Yeah, as soon as you miss it, like thinking you're going to try past the leader, you're in fourth. You're like, well, there goes my shot at winning completely.
Yeah, exactly.
So, that's why, I feel like when we've had, okay, perfect example, Binny, when we're in Perth and it was rubber that night, no one even blows up, eh? It's like, oh, yeah.
No.
It's like,
and
you're like, we're like rubber. Oh, another plug for the pod, rubber down. But anyway, it's like, oh yeah, rubber, not the best, but everyone's like, oh yeah, just rubber tonight.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's how it should be. No one should be hating tracks, man. It's like, well, go and do it, please.
Yeah. Well, I remember like Sydney, when people used to whinge that they wasn't on the fence, and as soon as they got on the fence, and they're like, oh, now it's tyre wear. Well, we didn't have. I can't remember the last time we had a rubber down track at Sydney. You know what I mean? It's not very often.
The one time where you guys come from the rear after going back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true. But that's once out of how many races you done there this year?
Exactly.
Races.
But in that type of race, still, Michael's going to the rear and said, "Well, I got to just go on the top where no one is," and it worked.
Yeah, it was still quicker to go. It will still end up being quicker to go around the top.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. Like I always like Binny, we always say when we're traveling, we're posting. Take a step back before you post something. Not because it's like, what do you want out of this post? Or like, well, one is promoting. And two, like I had an interview with Jock the other day. I go, it's hard for us sometimes. Like, I really didn't want to post if anything wasn't great happening at a track. Because one, I didn't want to make people in the comments go, what a crap hole, rubber. I don't know, that's any track in Australia. Because they're already doing that. I don't need to put fuel on the fire. If, post photos of tyres cut down. And well, bro, if you watch Club, you've seen it. Or people see the DNFs, they know something went pear-shaped. Right?
Yeah.
But then someone did tell me something. It's like, mate, you're documenting the night. You're not bagging it out. And then it's like, but it's still, someone can put eyes on it and go, well, not going there. Yeah. Even though I didn't say a bad thing about it, but it's still like, or maybe now my posting is obvious. Oh, when Code don't post much, it's not that great. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's hard.
I know. You can definitely look at it both ways for sure.
Yeah, and you guys it's hard when I know teams get frustrated and, again, they're spending a lot of money. Some guys at the end of the feature, will just post their tyre cut down. And that's like a stab, but it's also, I get it because they're spending their hard-earned money and they don't want that. So it's a tricky point, and I mean, it's just such an expensive sport at the moment. It's only going up, and that's where we are at the point where corporate needs to happen ASAP because it's just getting out of hand pricing, and you would know that as a race team buying gear. True.
Yeah, for sure. Like when I hear what the prices used to be before I started, I'll be like, oh shit, this would have been so much easier if I'd done it years ago. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just a time where everything's expensive now. It doesn't matter what you do. Everything's expensive.
Yeah. And that's Sydney as well, living or racing in Sydney. It's like, I don't like everyone say how expensive Sydney is a race, but bro, anything in Sydney, you can't even go to the pub and really get a beer for $10.
No,
and that's your local. Like that's the place like me personally, I grew up down at the St. Clair pub, and it's like 9 something. You're like, why would I sit here and drink and just watch my bank account get demolished when I can go buy a 6-pack for $20? It's just, that's where food, and another thing I always talk about, Speedway food, right? Like how expensive it can be. But if it's good, I'm happy. Like that chicken burger at Sydney, money. Pay for it all the time. But adding up as a family, it's like $300 a night plus. And
but on the same way, if you go to a football game, you know how much it costs to go to a footy game?
Well, okay.
You get no change out of $500 to go to a football game.
Well, my point exactly, we're heading that way at some tracks, which is hard. because, like, my fiance and I'm a Sharks fan, she's a Roosters fan, and she goes, "Oh, babe, we never go. Let's take the kids. We play once a year. Let's go." I said, "No worries." Back in my head, I'm thinking $25 a ticket because I haven't been to the footy in a long time. And anyway,
Long time, yeah.
And right, well, I haven't been like I used to go to Penrith and watch Penrith because I live near here, right? And she goes, "Oh, babe, the tickets are $45 each for shit ones." And I went, $45? It's the Roosters and the Sharks, like at Gosford. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not at ANZ Stadium or what.
Oh.
And she goes, "Yeah, what do you want to do?" And then she showed me the seats, and I said, "I'm not paying $45 for a corner post seat. You can stick that up here." And then I go, "How much is the middle?" And this is general admission middle still, $75.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, listen to this, so it gets worse. We bought the tickets committed, then we worked out at State of Origin the week after, so half the team's going to be different. So we're going to see them.
Reserve grade.
So then I worked that out, got depressed. She didn't buy the refundable ones, but then I worked out Sharks are pretty average. We should have our full team, so unlucky Roosters. But yeah, but pricing and stuff is going up, and you know the really thing that frustrates me is obviously it's live TV, right? But you watch like the drags are on live TV, and they got this big sponsor like Gulf Western. Right, huge. Like, I couldn't imagine how much they spent just to be the drags. A couple of tens of thousands, right? But, like, everyone talks about the drags. So the marketing is, like, everyone, like, in industry, like construction. So, like, Gulf Western does it right because that's their industry. But I'm like, but we're perfect for that same industry. But I feel like ever since it's, like, Parramatta, it's like, oh yeah, there's no more Speedway around here anymore. Like, even for sponsors, they're like, oh yeah, Speedway.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be cool.
Even people come into our yard and stuff, and they'll see the transporter on the car there, and they're like, "Oh, where do you race this at?" I'm like, "Oh, we race in Sydney." "Oh, Parramatta. I thought that was gone." I go, "Yeah, that's been gone for ages. We race Eastern Creek. They just don't even know there's a track there."
Oh,
yeah. So many of my mates do the same thing.
Yeah, they just don't hear. Yeah, they just don't hear about it. That's the thing. It's not on the TV. It's not on the radios anymore.
And the core, probably the core group of Parramatta racers were Western Sydney. Fans were Western Sydney people travelling. Yeah. Like I knew when I was a kid, it was like the radio. We always had it, and it was just when kids at school I go Speedway, they knew what I was talking about. Even if they didn't go, they still knew. Oh yeah, I've been there. They would say I've been there. Like they've at least experienced. Now they're like, "Oh, where's that?" And he goes, "Oh, you live in Rudy Hill." I'm like, "You're 5 minutes from it." And they're like, "Oh, you're Supercars." "Oh, I know where that is." But
I know. It's crazy, eh?
And Forest Road, that road it's on is jam-packed every day. People going from that area. So, but again, probably people say, "Oh, I drive on that road." Yeah, I didn't know it was there. Because don't get me wrong, it's not like the track sticks out. It's behind a billion miles of concrete and shit.
Yeah, it's not like you can... be massive signage somewhere, you know what I mean? It should be able to do something so it sticks
Parramatta
out.
did have the best marketing. It was literally, if you're on the freeway every day, you're looking at it.
Yeah.
That's a great marketing pack in itself. Look at
100%.
that thing. What's that? And then you Google. We're now actually on the road, like you said, it's only signs. So, but that's a rough thing.
They also had the sprint car that was craned up onto the containers, so you could see that as you're driving down.
That's what that road should have then. A weird looking sprint, or as people say, what's that thing with the wing on top, or the dish they call it? Put that thing right on Ferris Road. Like, I don't even care. Put one at the front near the supercars and say Speedway this way. Like right where that that big roundabout is. Perfect marketing if they would let you, because they want to promote themselves. And then one down the other end, past the Speedway that way too, and be like Speedway this way. Well, what is that? You're like, oh, and you're going to straight away Google, or the person in your passenger seat's going to surely go, where's that? Oh, well, right here. So I don't know. There's little ways, but again, I'm not telling anyone to run the Speedway because I never have. But I just feel like there's a lot of things that can be done for free that haven't been done. But that's a lot of Speedways too, I will say. Simple little things that can be done for free. Or as it for teams, Scotty, do you feel like there's some places you've been this year where you're looked after a lot better than others, or it's easier to sign in as a team or comfortable as a team? Does that happen too?
Yeah, I think Toowoomba's awesome. Really, really good at Toowoomba. I found racing down south this year, like we only done a few races, but it was really good as well. You know what I mean? Even like Tolma and things like that, like just people were really helpful. Never been there before. This is what you got to do. And they come and see you before your heat race, especially in Toowoomba. There's a guy walks around and he comes and says, all right, you guys are up in 10 minutes, get ready. Yep, no worries. Like sometimes you sort of going, oh, okay, you go have a look around to see what race is on because you can't know when you're up sort of thing.
Yeah. Where's that remind you of, Binny?
Yeah, Perth. Perth does the exact same thing. They've got a little guy in a golf cart that drives around and tells you when you're up. And it's the first night I was there, I just stood back and watched. Like we were obviously hanging around the Williamson transporter, and just seeing that guy just rush around and grab every car in that heat race. It's crazy how organised
they are. And it was also too, they were like checking if you were okay, like are you gonna make it. You know, not like so much because obviously you guys as a show or like part of it. It's like, what's going on? Okay, can we stall like for 5 minutes? Because that's, I mean, you got to think about it. Like you want all the cars out, all the nominations and stuff like that. But yeah, it does get tricky like that. And you guys, you better go to Perth. Come on, Scotty.
Well, I'm keen to go there for sure. At least once this year, we'll make an effort to go there.
Yeah. Or even, you've never even just been there to check it out?
Yeah, I went there to the Australian title in the year Brazier won, I think it was, the title over there.
Oh,
was that,
9.
like? Yeah.
Oh, 9. Yeah. That would have been hard on tyres that era of Perth, was it?
Oh, yeah, well, I was probably pretty young back then, maybe. Might have been 16, 17, maybe. Something like that.
What was your passion like then? Like more as a fan, or obviously you worked?
Yeah, no,
but your dad did know a lot. Oh, surely you were a bit of a sponge off your dad and asking him things about what goes on, you know. So
yeah, I always just ask them questions, or I used to sit there and just listen to what they'd say. So when we went to Perth that time, we stayed at Scruff Donaldson's place, and him and Dad would just stay up all night talking. I'd just sit there and just listen to what they had to say.
Yeah,
like it was cool, you know what I mean? Just
that sponge effect. You just sit there like a
fly, like. Yeah. Well, we've seen when we were in Warrnambool, Garry Rush come and seen us, and I hadn't seen him since we started the team. And I think he had, I don't think who he was with. Might have been Chaz Kelly, maybe.
Yep.
And he's like, this guy used to just sit in my trailer and just sit there and listen. Like, never talked, just sat there and listened. I was like, yes. He goes, yeah, which is cool, you know, because that's just, I don't know, that's how you learn. Just listen to what people got to say.
100%. 100%. Yeah. That's what it's about, Adelaide 500, Scotty. How was that as an event? I know you guys end up winning the points. We'll get to that. That's awesome. Made my weekend, just there. But as a team owner, obviously going into it and going, what is going to happen, or what have we got ourselves in for? What was that like?
Yeah, it was a cool weekend. It was a bit of a family trip actually. It was just me, Dad, and my sister in the truck.
Yep.
So Greg that normally drives a truck, he couldn't go that weekend. So Dad drove, and my sister was in the front, and I was in the back in the bunk, and it was a cool trip and good family trip. You know what I mean? Like we don't sort of get to do that very often, I suppose.
Mm.
And we never had any expectations. Our aim was just to promote the sport the whole time. We were like, all we want to do is make sure sprint car racing gets seen after this. That's all we wanted out of it.
Yeah.
And then the first day we were there, they had practice where Michael couldn't make practice. He couldn't get there to the actual race day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was a bit worried. I've seen out. The track was tricky. I've seen some really good cars there that day who were struggling hard. I was like, holy shit. And we sort of had a set up in our mind of what we wanted to try at that track, thinking it was similar to another track we'd run at.
Yeah.
So I was sending Michael videos and stuff, and even he's like, oh shit, I think I made a mistake here, like not being at practice. And then I think for hot laps, he got 1 lap for hot laps. Yeah, and it wasn't that good of a lap. And I go, how'd the car feel? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I just no idea. And we're like, all right, so we made a couple of changes, and we're like, we'll see what happens. And I think he qualified maybe 5th or 6th in time trials. And straight away we're like, oh, thank Christ. And after that, it was on, man. You know, I think we finished 4th the first night.
Yeah.
And we'll challenge them for 3rd or thereabouts. We weren't far off.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a really, really cool event. Just the atmosphere, going into that bit of I don't know, what would you call it? A bit like a cathedral, I suppose, going down the ramp into the track. The crowd both sides of you, that was super cool. And I don't know, all the teams were sort of it wasn't about so much racing as much, you know, and it was just about promoting the sport. And so you had to get there at 9 o'clock the next morning, I think, to have your car out and display and stuff like that. And you know, and they had school kids coming around, and they were at school, but they were allowed to go to the racetrack for the day as an excursion and stuff. It's just super cool event.
It definitely was an event where, you know, there was eyes on it because I had, a few people, if I was standing there, I had my phone out filming, and you just get random people that were supercar fans going, so when's this starting? What's going on here? Like, they were very oh, I've heard about this stuff, and then you tell them, oh, yeah, it's 5 till 10 at night, and they're like, oh, so I can watch it after supercars. Cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, you said, Scotty, like, just people on people.
It was pairs.
On people.
It was pairs.
And, like, I swear people were hanging in trees, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
The trees there.
It was just
like
just to build this track in the middle of all these buildings. I think we had to stop on the first night for half hour or 45 minutes because there was some parliamentary people having a dinner or something. And they're like, we can't race between 6:30 and 7:15 because they're doing speeches or something. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they did a big speech thing. Yeah.
It was
just why we stopped.
Crazy. Yeah, it was crazy, But just, I don't know, just such a cool weekend. The atmosphere was just unbelievable. Yeah, it was really cool to be part of.
Now, obviously, what would have you changed to make that event a little bit better? I know it was a home run, but is there something that you could tweak it to make it even better?
Yeah, you can always make it better. I think they need more seating there. They probably need some more grandstands or something around the track. And I don't think they probably realised how many people they didn't expect that many people. You know what I mean? And some of the spots it was hard to see the track. Unless you're up on a bit of a banking and looking down on the track, it was hard to see. So, yeah, a bit more seating there would have been cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else you'd really do. The track was actually really good. The first night the track was awesome to race on. There was a bottom, there was a top. It was really racy. It was just unlucky that it took rubber the next day, but it was so hot that day. It was so hot. Like, I don't think they were probably worried if they got too much water into it, they wouldn't get it back. So, you know what I mean? It's like, obviously, but the people watching didn't have a clue that it was rubber down. They just hear the cars, see how quick they're going. They don't know any difference. Like, we know that it's rubber down and, it's a bit boring or whatever.
Exactly. It's still a race. It's just racing.
To them it wasn't, you know what I mean? Yeah, to them it wasn't. And it was still a good race. Like, you know what I mean? People had different compound tyres on, and some guys were really quick at the start of the race, some were coming on, and
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I would change is for the competitors to make it even. If you were number one in qualifying night one, you're dead last, not a redraw.
Yeah.
Because it was redrawn both nights, and I swear, when I spoke to Jock, he was like, I was 18 and 19 both nights. Like, how's that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, he's one night one, whatever, but it still was like, if you wanted to make it exactly like down the middle, flip that, and then it is like, well, you're on your own.
Yeah.
You've got, on a track like that, it was like going out early was a huge advantage.
Oh,
because
100%.
It was so huge. So it's your job, if you're in the first 5 cars, to go and get your points and have a great night one.
Yeah.
And then you just got to work your ass off the next night where the other guys are the opposite. Okay, just work hard now so we can have a fresh crack tomorrow. Yeah. And then I sort of think it would maybe even it out. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. At the end of the day, the fast guys always come to the top.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, that always happens. But yeah, I think we got lucky the first time. I think we drew pill maybe 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah. Which
obviously helped us, but we didn't practice either. So I suppose at the same time we didn't have the advantage either. You know, it was our second lap on the track for qualifying.
Yeah, I agree. Last thing, for a big question, I would say, how, as a team owner, do you think clubs or tracks can support race teams better?
Communication's massive. So many times you'll have teams ringing each other going, hey, do you know what's going on this weekend? Or you just don't get a lot of communication. I suppose in Sydney you're hearing rumours every 5 seconds, but nothing's ever coming from the clubs or the tracks just saying, hey, this is what's going on. Communication's a huge thing. I don't believe in the whole back gate thing either, but I understand the track needs to make money. But if you're putting on a show, then you probably shouldn't have to be paying to put on the show to a certain point. That's, but that's probably a small, minor thing, to be honest with you.
Well, that's always been a thing, right? Like, it's normally
I don't think it ever used to be, though. Like, I think...
I don't know. I remember I think a lot of my era at Para, I always knew that, you paid to race. At Parramatta, that was. I don't know anywhere else. I didn't really travel as a kid till I started doing this. But, that's just a business trying to run a business, as you would know. You know what I mean? How can we make any type of money? So, but but if it is a show, not just race cars going in circles, if you get me.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
it's their job to put on a show too, not just the race cars. So
yeah. It's an entertainment industry, you know what I mean? So you've got to be able to entertain people.
yeah.
And if that means the kids want to see fireworks or monster trucks in between races or whatever, then that's what you got to try and make happen somehow.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Binny, what would you say? The last thing I want to try today, Scott, first time doing it. All right? We're just going to say, the first time. I don't even know the name of the segment, but I came up with it today. Well, I didn't. I just seen someone else do it. But, all right, Binny, you're going to say 3 random words that come to your head. And Scotty, you can only say minimum 3-word answers. And then I'll have a crack at you. Anything that comes to your head now, Binny, you just think Speedway related. It can be anything.
All right. Larson, Sydney, series.
Larson, GOAT. One of the best. Sydney, massive potential. And series, I want to see a national series.
So everyone wants to say it. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say mine not like Binny did, so you don't have to remember him. I'll say them one at a time, and you go.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
It's
sweet.
the first time doing this segment. That's okay. Hey, relax.
He remembered him.
We just said communication was key. I did not do that. Okay. All right. So first one, number 14.
14. Tony Stewart.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Why green?
Michael's like green, so he had green on his speed car. So that's
Hey,
what we done.
come on. Hey, this is it.
Michael, mate, that's it. Green.
Michael, like Mike. All right, last one. Toowoomba.
Awesome track.
There we go. See, simple. But,
Yeah.
you know, we did have a leak out there of a paragraph. I was like, bring it back there, Scotty. All right. Well, that'll wrap us up there, Scotty. Thanks for your time. And good luck this weekend. Going for finishing off, getting the track championship. It's still a great stat to have against the name and the team. And I'm sure that when you started a team, you never thought you'd get a track championship this early, I'm sure.
No, I had 3 goals, I suppose, at the start of the season. And this is definitely one of them, so which is cool. Awesome. That one, and I won the club championship, which we got that. So, and Michael has the most wins at Eastern Creek now in a sprint car, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and so
there you go.
We have the most team wins there, so it's pretty cool.
That's awesome, mate. All right, thanks for joining us, mate. You're a legend. All you got to do is hang up now. Hang up.
Hang up. How do I hang up, mate?
Is there a red button on your phone?
At the bottom
or
of
the
your
computer?
screen.
The big red button.
Screen. Righto. I'll give it a go.
All right, thanks, Scotty. You're a legend.
Worries. See you
later.
later.
On the weekend, mate.
Yeah, mate. Bye.
And he's gone. What about that, Binny? Now, we can continue real quick here because I've got me buttons and it's just going to be my head and your head. We'll separate it. But interesting stuff there. What was something you really took away from that chat there, Binny? Your head's gone. Oh, my God. Wait a second. Technical errors. Oh, my God. We're still running. It's okay. You're back. Oh, my God. Your head. Where are you? Hey, there you are. Okay. We're back. All right. What was something you took away from that convo right there, bro?
Just listening to how you can just see how much he cares about everyone that works on the team and how passionate he is about obviously doing well, but having a good team everywhere he goes and being one of those teams that and they roll into a track, it is look at that team. Like they've got a good hauler, they've got a good driver. So yeah, that was cool. And then sort of hearing his thoughts on different things about the sport and how we can sort of improve it. It's always good to get a different aspect. And I think a lot of people try and go with the minority and what they think. But I always like hearing all the different opinions and how people think things can improve. That's what I took out of it. What about yourself?
Yeah, it's a thing. I love asking these questions, not because I know the answers to make them better or vice versa. I'm not here to say we've got all the answers, come to Cademan and Binny. But like these are questions that are easily floating around social media and people are asking. So why not ask the teams? And I'm not trying to get them or even us bag a place or bag a situation because like it's pure just topical and talking about
Yeah.
it. So like I can always I mean it's honestly we know sprint car racing needs more money behind it. That's just a
Yeah.
straight fact. We know the drivers need to be paid more for winning. We would all love that, but that is where it comes from, and we can't do that ourselves. That is the corporate level, the right people wheeling and dealing to get it, to show it. And like even when I said with tracks or places, I say there are a lot of free things you can do. But I'm only saying that because I have run a social media page free and never paid for ads. Like I said, I'm starting to now run social media pages, different companies or working for companies. And okay, I'm dabbling in that because that's a business. Like Codeman Racing, yeah, okay, you can call it a business, but it never started out, and I don't think I'll ever think of it as a business. You know what I mean? Like, or rub it down. Eventually, that I'd probably treat that more like a business because it's a podcast. It's got you involved, or even, like there are potentially different strategies of how podcasts work. But it's just, yeah, it's when you look at the Perth situation, we've been there. I know everyone says, oh, here we go, they're bunging on about Perth again, blah, blah, blah. But you can't not. And if you are saying, oh, here they go bunging on about Perth again, you're the people that haven't been there and felt it. And I'm not saying, oh, Perth Motorplex because of the racing. I don't say it's the best racing in the country. I'll say it's the best run speedway in the country. Hands down, without a doubt. And I, not saying I know the behind the scenes logistics or anything like that, but I know when I'm there, I feel like I'm part of a show and a well-oiled machine. Their social media is great. I know with the flex of, the high limit and the American followers, but I think on Facebook, they got like 200,000 followers. And that's got to do with them running a drag strip. Like they run everything to the absolute professional T. Like they got those Fast Fridays. Yeah, no one, I would say, when I say no one, not many people that watch normally 410 shows would watch them, but they still put the best promotion on their socials behind it, the same race day flyers. Like it's just a well-oiled process. Yeah. Like not many speedways have a digital program. Like the days of paper and printing, no one wants that. I want it on my phone. Like that, and it's something that, again, I don't know, but I'm sure, again, once it's like a well-oiled machine, it would flow pretty good. Now, again, like Racetrack's getting My Race Pass. I think it's the best thing I've had this year is My Race Pass. That is so good. The updates, like that is a race program in itself, really. You get the results, you get the starting grids. Like, I know, again, it probably costs money to have at your track, but everywhere I've been with My Race Pass, I'm like, this has made my night easier.
Yeah.
Now, you've been to now Perth, a lot of Sydney time. Scotty put the nail on the head where he goes, someone running around, telling them. They have that. I know it's about manpower too. Some tracks don't have all those volunteers or manpower, right? And Sydney's pits is pretty big. It's not like they're all shacked together, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you think places, from what you've seen at Perth, like simple things that you really to join as a race fan or someone involved in what we do, you're like, yeah, that's a must-have, or just makes everything run so much better.
Yeah. Look, the thing I like about that person at Perth that runs around and makes sure that you're ready to go is you're not having those sort of problems where you've got a car rolling out and they're just going to be like 1 to 2 minutes late and they've closed the gate and then they miss out on the race. Obviously, we've seen that happen a couple of times at Sydney. I think it's just good. It gives, in the end, as you said earlier, they're putting on the show.
Yeah.
Like, if they're missing out on a race, the fans are missing out on seeing the best possible show they can get.
Yeah, 100%.
But again, it's man hour. Like, a lot of them are volunteers that go to these tracks. So to be running around and chasing drivers down and stuff like that, it is a lot.
Oh, it is 100%. Yeah, I agree.
And obviously, Perth has had that backing where they've got things like the little Polarises and stuff like that to be able to
drive
get around and sort of and as you said, like Sydney is a big pit area, so to try and get from the pit box to the back of cars, you're running around all night to try and get to each car and make sure everyone's ready. Again, it all just comes back to funding and getting that funding to be able to do that high quality stuff. So having the volunteers that look professional, having volunteers that want to show up because they've got the very best of everything to be able to go do their job.
Yeah.
It's all just goes back to that funding sort of side of things, and I think eventually Sydney will get there. And as Scotty said, I think Sydney's got massive potential, and it's going to be one of the best. And you look at Perth Motorplex when they first started, they weren't the best straight away. It took a couple of years for them to get their head around things and get going. So.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like you say, like we've been to both. So when we're at Sydney, that is the thing we've said. Like so much potential, and I think every race of that race is there. Even when they're grumpy, they're like, a lot of potential, man. Like, or you hear the Americans talk about when they're at Perth, like, oh yeah, this is beautiful. You're lucky. Like, there's no different. Like, how would you not want to pit in that pit all night on concrete? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Big, bright lights. It's lit up well. Like, or let's, for example, use... when I was away in Warrnambool, the first night out, the teams rolled out, and there was a Perth team just absolutely filthy with the pits. Like, look at this shit we're working on. Like, that's because it's old school, rocky and dirt, which is what Speedway is. I'm not bagging it out. It's just what it is. I didn't think of anything different. But they're like, can we get a water truck in here to wet this thing? Like, there's dust going everywhere. And don't get me wrong, there was. But, like, they're literally from Perth, like, on great grass and concrete. They don't get any of that. So they've got, what is all this crap? So, like, I'm not going to say what team it was. But if you're listening, you know, because I was there. I gave you crap about it. Like, oh, come on, prima donna, relax. All right, Binny. Well, let's flip the switch on the sprint cars, and I want to hear your breakdown on today's F1 in Miami. Oscar!
Yeah,
how good.
Piastri just dominated that race. Sort of had a bit of a challenge from Max at the start of the race. That was the elbows up. But I think Max knew that he didn't have the car to keep up with the two McLarens today. And you definitely saw that with the way he was trying to defend and stuff like that. It's not normal Max. So Oscar got the win there. A very bit of a weird race in terms of a lot of virtual safety cars. There wasn't a full safety car at all. It was all virtual safety cars. And just drivers... just little mistakes like Jack Doohan and I forget who it was at the start of the race getting into contact, and it resulted in Doohan being out. Piastri home in first, Lando second, and George Russell in third. Even though Red Bull tried to put in a protest after the race because they thought George Russell was speeding under caution, but it didn't go through. And then Ferrari, I think is going to be the story to watch the rest of the season, because I think Lewis and Charles are definitely going to butt heads throughout the season, because they've already butt heads pretty much every race this season in terms of, oh, he should let me past, I need to get past, I'm wearing tyres, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think that's going to be a very interesting story throughout the rest of the year. See who
I agree.
gets a bit passionate and doesn't follow to team orders.
I was going to say, they're two top dogs who ain't going to be it. I don't want to be second fiddle. And I feel like Oscar, the results have just made that happen. Like, I think they'd be silly not to push for him going for the championship now. Like, Lando, don't get me wrong, started off the pole, and you could tell Max knew he didn't have the car, how aggressive he started that race, chopping him off the start. Like, even then, you're like, oh, well, he's blocking today. Like, he was pretty aggressive, and that did stuff Lando up. And then I remember you texted me going, oh, they're probably going to pull that back up. But they, over the radio, I watched the highlights after I finished the race again. They're like, yep, we're not doing anything with that. I'm like, oh, that's some hard racing there, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. But like I said, I know the names of all these guys because it is marketed so well. F1, I know, and who wins the World Championship every year just for how good it's marketing, or Red Bull or something. But with this McLaren, you can tell it's a McLaren series right now. Like, those guys are just ridiculously fast. Now, with the Ferrari situation, they're right near each other. But like you said, it's like, who the team likes better as a person? Because they're similar in points. Like, are they really going to push? Is Ferrari really going to push for how are you going to push for a team championship now with how McLaren's going well? But then who out of those two drivers are going to push Oscar or Norris to win the points championship? Or Max even?
You look at it this way. You've got, on one side of the Ferrari garage, you've got Charles Leclerc, who has been their mainstay for the last,
and he's been
performing.
It's not like he's been nothing at Ferrari.
Exactly. But then Ferrari has made that big multi-million-dollar deal to get Lewis Hamilton over, 7-time world champion. And they're like, I sort of like listening to like the team radios today. I was like, like if I was Lewis, so I'm not the biggest Lewis Hamilton fan, but if I was Lewis, I'd be a little bit annoyed, because it was sort of like Lewis hold station, let Leclerc do what he needs to do. But you could see Lewis had the pace to
it's like
away.
you're stalling his potential momentum.
Yeah, and I think going back to the last season, if you look at a lot of the races, I think they sort of did that to Piastri a lot of races last year, and Norris was getting favouritised. And I think, I don't know, you look at Piastri's results over the last few years, and he's just so consistent.
Yeah.
Like, he is, I would say he's probably, after Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, he is probably the most consistent guy on the grid at the moment.
Yep. For sure. But that's from practice onwards too. Like, it's not just he shows up for the race, Grand Prix, and then gets it going. It's like, oh no, he's on the pace all weekend type deal.
Like, and even if he's off the pace, it's one practice session, and then they come out the next practice session, he's got the car to win. Like, that's what they've, I don't know whether they've drilled that into him, but he is just so consistent, and I honestly think he will be the driver's champion at the end of this year, because I think Lando is maybe just trying a little bit too hard. Similar to the year that Max tried to, or one of the years Max was battling Lewis. Max was too aggressive in trying to get the job done.
Yeah. Instead
of just taking that second place and getting all the points he can, he's trying to fight for those wins when he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my opinion. Whether people agree with it, we'll go from there.
How can you disagree with Sir Benchigan? Like,
yeah, exactly.
What about Williams racing though? What a battle they were having. It was like that was a similar situation where we just talked about Ferrari. Even over the radio, you could hear him go, "Stop racing," but they were having a great battle. Like, what happens in that situation too? Like, you aren't racing for a championship, or you're just showing up weekly and being a great team. But like, is it whoever you want to finish better each week, or please stage? Like, how does that work?
I think for the smaller teams, they're not even a small team.
They're not
Williams
small
is a
teams. Yeah,
massive
exactly,
team.
bro. Yeah.
But for them, it's just they're trying to maximize as many points as they can. So, like, I guess they would be looking at your sort of lap by lap times and mini sectors and stuff like that to see which driver has actually got the pace over the other one, and that would determine what they sort of favoritise.
Yeah.
But I
How
tell
do you
you
do
what,
that when you're racing the same? But you're racing someone, so you're obviously going to be faster in different spots when you're on there. You're braking more because you're on the back of them, and like that must be a hard task for a race team to do.
Yeah, but they would have mini sectors where they would be able to see what each driver is actually their full potential and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I actually voted for Alex Albon as driver of the day today because I seriously to do the drive he did in a Williams was just that was incredible.
Yeah, it was a ripper drive, wasn't it?
So yeah, and like I'm mega impressed with Kimi Antonelli this season. Like to be a rookie and doing what he's doing in that Mercedes is impressive, and I'm interested to see how he goes over the next few seasons because I think that's a multi-year deal. So
it feels like just his name is always circuiting when you're watching the highlights. It's like Antonelli. Like they're always invested in him in a way. Like they know he's got a lot of potential in a way.
He pretty much since he got into sort of the feeder categories into F1, his name was circulated as being the next Max Verstappen or the next Lewis Hamilton. He is really got a lot of hype around him, and I think he's really shown this year that once he's got a bit of experience up his belt, he's going to be a guy to beat, and it's going to be pretty cool to see.
For sure. I just thought it was great. Next round's in Italy. I call it rounds, but it's not called. Is it called rounds? Is that what they call them?
Yeah, it's a round.
But there's multiple tracks in Italy, correct?
Yeah, so the track they're going
to something. Next, I wrote it today.
Yeah, they're going to Imola. They call it the Emiliano Romano Grand Prix.
Grananos.
Yeah,
Tandos spaghetti.
So yeah, they go to this track first, and it's a bit of a track that a lot of the drivers are a bit emotional about because it is where Senna obviously lost his life and stuff like that. So it's an emotional weekend for a lot of the drivers and a lot of meaning behind it. And I think the track is really cool and generally puts on some good racing, even though it's a pretty tight track. Hopefully it doesn't have the weather it's had the last few years with the rain, and we get a bit of a dry race. But who knows? It'll make things a little bit spicy if it does rain. So
yeah, for sure. Now with the Senna, obviously that is, I say it's very similar to NASCAR's with the Earnhardt, Daytona 500, and all that stuff, right? So if you're a person listening, watching, and you don't know much about that situation with the Senna and all that stuff, just YouTube it. They've made a movie of it. There's a lot of great documentaries. Go and do yourself a favor. It's a massive part of motor racing history, not just the accident, but what he was like as a competitor. Insane. And I say the same too for Dale Earnhardt. There's a new doco coming out soon of Dale Earnhardt and the Earnhardt family on Amazon Prime, I believe. I can't wait for that. Unreal. While I'm touching on docos, there was another one on Flow Racing they had called King of the Midgets. I forget the guy's name. I flicked across it when it was live. But do yourself a favour. It had Jeff Gordon in it as a young kid running like the sprint cars on the asphalt, bro. Like in circles. Like that style of racing and USAC, and it was such a well put together doco. Like I was like, I can't wait to watch this from start. And you know, like we're talking like guys running these big tracks with no wings, and literally like their regret is like, well, if you had one thing about your career, what would you change? Never run at that place. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done. like how dangerous and deadly it was. So let's tie into NASCAR there. Today, Texas Motor Speedway, Joey Logano got the job done in not his usual looking 22. Different sponsor. Wasn't the old yellow and red, which I'm a big fan of that car. Come from deep. Now, they all were saying before in practice and qualifying that they thought it would be a hard track to pass on just with how it was. Now, stage winners, Kyle Larson won a stage. I didn't see who won the first one because I was on the way to work. But Kyle Larson, I thought he looked in the driver's seat, led a lot of laps. There was a few fuel changes at the end and stoppages. And I swear the last stage, it literally went overtime. Like, it was just caution, 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 caution. And I was like, oh my God, just get some laps running. So big news was Denny Hamlin, like, blew up on fire.
Yeah.
Out of the race, DNF. We'll go through the story now. Then there was Ricky, I always say Ricky Rudd. The 21. Who's running the 21 again? He won a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's Josh Berry.
Josh Berry leading spun out. Just lost traction and put this old bitch in the fence. Unlucky there. Bubba Wallace got out of shape in the pack. And there was like 4 to 5 cars caught up in that one. And then, just hitting the wall. It was an old school NASCAR type of wreck. Like I said, Larson looked really good. But Logano had just come on at the end in the end stage. Even Kyle Busch got around in the 7-Eleven car. I thought it was a really cool scheme.
That's cool.
It just, everyone was just, some guys were just getting loose pushing on their own. Like they were pushing and slamming that wall. Like even McDowell was like in the top 5 and 10 and did it to himself hard. But Logano, got the job done on the inside, pushed through. But what I want to say about NASCAR, and everyone says, the Kyle Larson, when we talk about him. But like the effect this guy has and how he still wants to race, like you talked about, he raced the other NASCAR, it was an Infinity. He won that, the big ice cream, that was cool. Then he runs higher limit. The series he is running doesn't have to, but shows up and loves racing his sprint car still. And then he's running his cup. Like, thank you, Hendrick Motorsports, for allowing him to race so much, but he's pull it for dirt racing. But yes, on Thursday night, I think it was their time, the high limit show in Texas, there was a lot of rain around. I'm surprised they even got it in, but it was a pretty boring feature, just hammered down. Brent Marks got the job done, but he did win at Texas last year as well. But it was literally where they started sort of finish. Just a big hot lap sesh. But you still got to get through the lap traffic, get the job done. I did see people say, oh, where are the fans? There wasn't many fans there. It was one, the weather was shit. And two, it was a Thursday night, bro. Chill out.
Yeah.
And then they had a show on there Saturday, I believe. Packed to the house. Rico got the job done. Looked great. Went quick time. A lot of the qualifying, he was the only guy in the 13 seconds. And then Reitzel ripped one out late, like a 13.9. And then Rico was a 13.8. The track blew away great. I thought the heat racing was good. Brendan Crouch made an awesome move in the B, like from 6 to transfer. So it was a very racy track. Larson won the dash. Rico was out of 2. Pretty much you go, Kyle Larson was off pole, it's over. That's how it's been the story lately. But Rico got the lead, and like Kyle was pushing, like there, not there. But Rico just was on. Like he's just I would say when Rico Abreu's in that mode, it's over 2. Like I feel when they're like him and Larson, when they're on, it is over. Like everyone else is racing for second when he's that good, And it just showed that in Knoxville, those two guys were on 1 and 2 again a few weeks ago. So Rico started the season, I would say, a lot better. That he did have a great season last year, but like the middle coming to the money month period, I feel like he started better early on. So, but Texas, like I said, like the Larson deal, like you can't tell me there wasn't NASCAR fans in that stands because Kyle Larson was racing. You know what I mean? So, like, that's great. And you know what? The dice draw one, the lady, no joke, rolled a 2, a 1 and a 1 on the dice, and won 2,500 split with Rico. So, like, that's
nice.
ripper. That's gangster. Like, that's when she rolled it. I'm sitting in the lounge with Rad. I'm like, she's rolled it too. It's a shame Larson's out of pole. Like, you know what I mean? But that was awesome. Like, that's such a cool interview. And like I said, that's part of the show. And when I released this one with this pod I did with Jock last week, it was like, why is High Limit so good? He goes, because it's a show and it's short.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you're only sprint cars there. He goes, doesn't matter, bro. Fan interaction, the t-shirt trailers, like everything is done within 3 to 4 hours, but the fans are pumping the whole time. And like, I know that dice roll you can say like, oh, the wheel is like, oh, that takes time, or get it on. But I feel it doesn't matter. Like, we've seen how the fans doing that draw at High Limit, they're all cheering and yelling and like, it's so cool. Like, I was a big fan of like, just hurry up, do the pill draw. But after watching that spin wheel in person, absolutely loved it. So hands down, ripper. High Limit again. Now, High Limit have a huge schedule coming up. I think it's like May 7th, May 9th, May 11th, or something like that. The next month, High Limit will be everywhere over social media racing. So will the Outlaw. Like the schedule here, ready? I'll read through it quick. What are we in May? So it goes May 7th, 81, Lakeside, May 9th, Tri-City, May 10th, Kokomo, May 12th, Fremont, May 14th, Ransomville, May 16th. I always botch this one. Utisa, Rome, May 17th. Granville, May 20th. Port Royal, May 23rd, May 24th, May 25th. And Lawrenceburg on May 30th. And Butler, May 31st. That's just May.
That's crazy. And that's not including races where they'll probably jump on and run with some of the Outlaws.
Well, yes. Well, this is where the period they have the midweek series. So we're going to see a lot of, for us, Thursday racing. Yeah. And then it goes Saturday or Sunday. Like, there's a lot of racing going on. A lot of money to be won. And June is just as bad. I mean, they have a 2-week off period and then it gets in the month of money and whatever. But I'm really keen for them to go to Port Royal because I think the Outlaws are going to Port Royal or Williamsgrove around the same time. So that's where we see a bit of the crossovers happening again, like really big Williamsgrove shows. But I did see another thing on socials. That's like another thing, like because like the Outlaws, it's like the PA versus the Outlaws isn't as big anymore because the High Limit guys aren't there.
Yeah.
Like because they would be Outlaw drivers, but. Anyway, that's just always going to be a thing. I do see it. It sounds like a really aggressive thing in America, this High Limit versus Outlaw shit. I mean, it sounds like the fans are like on the fence, like die hard. Oh, the big block. I've seen another guy run like, we'll get into the Eldora, like David Gravel won, unreal drive. But they're like, oh, it didn't win because the big boys aren't there. I'm like, bro, David Gravel's a guy. Yeah. Custom Macedo's a guy. Gio Celsius, a guy. Buddy Copefoy's a guy. Like, you want me to keep going? Huddenchild, a guy. Oh, and Donny Shot's still pretty good. Yeah. Like, they're guys. Like, you can't say, oh, the big boys. Like, who are you saying? Kyle Larson beats everyone and Brad Sweet? Or Rico? Like, well, come on, man. Like, I don't rate that. What are your thoughts about the big boys? Like, they're so stacked either side of the field. Oh, sorry. I forgot Logan Schuhart, currently second in the Outlaws. Like, he ain't no pushover this year. He's on fire.
Yeah, I don't think there is such a thing anymore as your big guys or your little guys. Like, all of them have just as much, how would you say it? They're all just as much of a chance to win every night.
100%, bro.
And, like, even when you do get the likes of Brad Sweet, Kyle Larson, and all that rolling in and all running the one race, you still, like, it all comes down to how the track is when you go out for time trials or your heat race. Like, we saw it at the Australian title with Jock. Like, Jock had the car to probably win the title that night.
Yep.
And got taken out. Just pure unluck. Like, shit happens. Like, that can happen anyone on any night. Like, But in saying that, one guy that I have been looking at, and we spoke about him last time on the pod, was Casey Kane. I just saw that he's 6th in points in High Limits. that guy is driving so well this season.
Yeah.
I don't know what his best result is when he's ran high limits and since it's been going on, but I feel like not having to worry about NASCAR has helped him immensely. But I noticed that the last week he ran the Xfinity car, so he's still doing a little bit of NASCAR driving. Whether that's made him a little bit more relaxed and making his racing 10 times better because he's in form.
Oh, definitely. I think, he's at the start of a heat race. He's pushing, and he's even doing, like, more racing than just high limit. Like, he was at Selinsgrove. I mean, sorry, not Selinsgrove. He was at Babs. No, not Babs, you goose. Port Royal. And, like, he's there. Like, they don't need to be. But, like, he wants to race, and he's racing. So, he's obviously still very motivated to race a sprint car. And I honestly feel like this year has been one of his best years that I've seen him drive. And, like, I think one of the heats this year, he's gone, like, 5th or 1st. Like, not many people do that at a high limit or an outlaw show. Like, your car's moving that night. Push Brad Sweet for a win that night and Tyler Courtney and stuff. So, definitely a season for him. But then you could say, like, I know people are going to say, oh, what are you, an outlaw guy? But no, like, you say, like, you got Rico Sweet, Marks, Reitzel. You call Larson a high limit guy, but you don't. Like, he still run outlaw shows. Like, the names just go on and everywhere. It's awesome. It's really good. But yeah, the Outlaws, David Gravel swept the night. Like, when David Gravel's in a mood, it's over too. Like, he literally time quick, won his heat, won his dash, and won the feature. Like, they just got the show, and it was raining around Eldora really bad. Night 2 got cancelled, but they got the showing, got the job done. But the highlight of the night for me was Zach Hampton, man. He was pushing pushing Gravel, sorry. He was my highlight for sure, Zach Hampton. What a night for the 6. The Bill Rose car. Like, that was on no one's bingo card, no disrespect, but he has shown that when they get that car right, he can race with the best. So that was awesome. Cole Macedo got up there too. Binny's fell in and out there. Are you there, Binny?
Yeah, I don't know what happened then.
Yeah, you froze on me.
You
froze on me. Yeah, but I just feel like Zach Hampton showed me that was, honestly, mate, like, he was pushing Gravel at a moment there. Then Cole Macedo got on the podium, I believe. Let me just double check that stat. I swear that's what it was. There's been so much racing. Here it is somewhere. Cole. There you go. Where's that? Grab them quick time. Outlaws, get better on your posts. What is this? Unbelievable. Yeah, I swear it was Cole. Anyway, Eldora's good. David Gravel looking good. Come King's Royal time, I think. Logan Schuchart went out like 18th in time trials. Didn't time as good. Gravel went quick time. The point season there, I think he is now 80 points behind. So Gravel gained another 8 points on him. And the high limit, Brad Sweet is leading is leading Tyler Courtney by 83 points. Brent Marks, awesome in 3rd. Rico 4th. Reitzel 5th. And Casey Kane, like you said, 6th. Outlaws go David Gravel, Logan Schuchart 80 behind. Carson Macedo 114 behind. Buddy Kofoid, Sheldon Hordenchild, and Donny Schatz rounds out the 6th there as well. Rookie of the Year contenders. In the Outlaws right now, I think Chris Wyndham. I think it's his first Outlaw season, so he's just got Garrett. Oh, no, they're tied. Garrett Williamson tied on the same exact point. So that's the battle for Rookie of the Year, I believe. Touching thing for us on the weekend, we spoke with this, we'll call him a young man compared to us, Ryan Timms got his first win at Knoxville Raceway against a big, knowledgeable Knoxville field. And what I mean by that is Brian Brown, Austin McCall, Kerry Madsen was there. Guys who have done a lot of laps. Scott Bugaki as well around Knoxville. and he stuck it to Brian Brown. Like I'm like, oh, Brian Brown, Ryan's got a tough task here. Like Brian
Yeah.
Brown's a specialist around that Knoxville place. But man, he got a good lead. He did look like the car was a bit free on the top side. Like he was working it. But he was just on the top, putting the car where he needed to. Brian Brown was so good on the bottom. Brian Brown had a big lunge at him, and I mean, Ryan kept his foot in it and said, not happening today. This is my race. Off he went, won. So happy for him. We know when we talked to him on the pod, he was like, I need to get better at Knoxville. I don't think I've made the Nationals. I want to get good there. And, well, hello. Got a good Knoxville team behind him now. Picked up his first win. That was so cool to see. Like, you remember talking to him and how much it meant to him running at Knoxville more this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's cool to see him go well when you can, like, when we spoke to him, you could see how much he wanted to go well there. So it's, good on him and the team, and hopefully it's more good things to come for them over the next couple of months.
Agreed. I think they're going to do a lot more around that period now before the big time comes around the month of money. So, Binny, to finish up the pod, it's been a long one, but we've done sort of 2 pods in one. But I feel like I just want to keep up to date. Like even you said, like there's so much F1 today. We're not just going to not talk about it. You know, we've got to.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. Like starting now, we have the socials. Remember, if you listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we have now Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and the YouTube. This episode is on YouTube, so if you want to support for free, let those song bitches play while you do other stuff. Even if you've listened to it, that helps us out. Just play time, getting to new people. And in the comment section, anything you want us to, add to the pod, please drop comments on what you do like about the pod, even if we're rambling on about shit you don't care about. Let us know. Now, we are been working on segments. Did you come up with any segments that we could maybe work on? I do like that question one where we give them one word, give us 3 words or less. Is there any other segments? I have a few, but I mean, it just takes a bit more editing for me in the week, but that's okay.
Yeah, I definitely like your idea of like highlight or crash of the week or something like that. Because there's sometimes a lot of things happen in the week, but it's always cool to get like those little moments. Like this morning when I woke up and I was scrolling through Instagram to see the Formula One drivers in those Lego F1 cars.
How cool was that?
I was just not expecting that on a Monday morning to see Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc in a red Lego Ferrari crashing into Pierre Gasly and that. It's just to see that was really cool. That
was cool.
And to just see how much fun they had with it, even though they're used to driving 300 kilometers an hour in a proper F1 car,
100%.
they still had fun in them. So, that was cool. But that's sort of a segment I think will be something that would be really cool over the next couple of weeks.
Another segment I would like is like, I know it's not racing, but it can be any funny social media reel. And this is to the followers as well. If you're listening or watching now, send it through to our Rubber Down Instagram or Facebook Messenger. Probably Instagram's a bit easier. A reel that you think is worthy of crash of the week or funny racing crash or it could be anything. Like I don't care what it is. A clip that you think this should go on the pod that other people would think would funny. Send it through to the Instagram or whatever, or a link, even if it's a YouTube video, you go, Code, watch this YouTube video, send me the link on the Discord or something, or like I said, Instagram, stop saying that. TikTok as well we have, so please send through any funny TikToks you want. I will give you a shout out of your name, like this clip come from a follower such and such. I want to get more fan interaction and race fan interaction of like stuff you thought. Drop your comments. Be opinionated. That's what this is about. Yeah. Like this is for people to have discussions and us to discuss what's happening in motorsport or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, and Binny, there is one other one I wanted to do was like top 10 plays of the week.
Yeah.
Like it could be like F1. It could be some motocross thing. I don't care. Just
Yeah.
and it could be a big hit in footy. I'm like, well, that made my list. You see that he took his head off? Anything. It doesn't have to be motorsport, but it's just about branching and also just building a community like the streams used to. But the podcast, it's like, I want you guys interacting and sending stuff, or be like, Code, I got a clip for you, or this looks like Binny. Oh, I did see, if you find any doppelgangers of us, send them through. Any doppelgangers of me or Binny, send them through now. You can't send a photo of my brother, you're a dog. I know we look the same. Okay? Like for Binny, for example, send the egg guy from Sonic. That's a good one.
Egg
Do you know
guy
what I
from
mean?
Sonic.
Yeah, Jim Carrey in Sonic. Like, that's pretty good.
Come off it.
Like, what's one for me? Come on. A straight doppelganger right now.
Yeah, with your hair sometimes you're a little bit like Donald Trump.
Oh, turn it up. Did you see that Wildcat post himself photo with a Pope?
No.
He AI'd himself as a Pope like a week after the Pope died. Morgan would say, like, this is the shit I don't see. Like, Morgan told me this, my fiance. She's like, babe, did you see you did this? I'm like, what are you talking about? But, like, send that shit through. That's funny. You know what I mean? So...
If someone can AI code into being the Pope...
No. Bro, that thing will burn. That photo will just... Psst. That thing ain't no Pope worthy, but no way. If someone does that, I'll be surprised. It'll be you. You're going to do it, you flog. Oh, you go, look at this one. Oh. All right, I think
I'll get Dad to send it through.
Yeah, thanks, Bernard. Bernard. Last thing, though, Binny. All right, give me your top 5 songs that are good for a sprint car 4-wide. Or songs that you reckon would slap.
Like, do they have to be new songs or like?
Nah, any song you think of. Like, it can be even a funny one. Like, I want Dom Dollar one day. Or like, what do you think?
Well, Hell's Bells is number 1 all day, every day.
Yeah.
I love that song for when it goes 4-wide. Just the bells at the end of the night. It just makes every race seem like a big race.
Yep.
Kickstart My Heart.
Yeah.
One of my favourites. Love it. I think it's great. Anything by Dom Dollar will get me going.
What Dom Dollar song would be a 4-wide worthy? San Francisco, there's my disco, man.
Nah, maybe Miracle Maker.
Ooh, that slaps.
Yeah, Miracle Maker would get the crowd up and, hairs on the back of the neck going.
Yeah.
You're gonna laugh at me here, but I'm dead serious.
You got 2 more. You're dead serious.
I'm dead serious.
Go.
The Veronicas, Hook Me Up. I love them.
What?
What a song!
Wait a second. I'm gonna play it, but like wait. Wait,
is it Hook Me Up or is it something else?
Hook Me Up.
Let me find it.
Veronicas, that's the song. I'm playing it.
Yeah, but I don't know whether that's the right. No, Untouched. I always get them mixed around.
That song.
Yeah.
Untouched. Fuck off. No way. See the lights. Get up on your feet, race fans. I feel so untouched right now. Forward for you. Feel so right now.
All right. I got.
That does not work, Oos. Binny on the infield would be like this.
Have my little mic just dancing along.
Binny, can you please turn your mic off while the 4-wide's on?
Alright, what's another song that's good for
This is one more. Come on, Oos.
Oos. Oh, isn't this Activision? That's the song you showed me.
Activision? What, Will Sparksy? Activision. This one?
Yeah, that'd get him up and going.
Forward race fans! Da, 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 da.
Just
But
full
that would
rave.
need like those Tolma lights just going oos, 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 oos. Activision. Fireworks like, but you with the firework gun like, pop, 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 like China off back in the WWF days, like, pop, 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 pop. Yeah, that would work. All right, my top 5.
Go.
On the wrestling, I've always wanted it. I've even said if I ever sponsor and run a sprint car event, it's going to be Triple H time to play the game.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Classic.
And I'm going to ask for green fireworks and lighting show. Just going to be like, ready? And they're forward. Time to play the game. Like, that's what we're getting.
Are you gonna have 4 water cannons around the track as well? So when it like hits that section and they spit the water up?
No. I'll get you on the infield just with a spotlight. Look at that.
No shirt on.
Yeah, or I'll get all the crash crew to. All right, so that's number 1. Right, that's my all-time. I want to see it happen, but it's got to be done right. Not just play it because it's been said like it needs to be lighting and green and like full Triple H, right? Number 2, Disturbed. The song that goes, oh, you know that song?
Yeah, I know that one.
But only instrumental. I don't need the rest of the words like, I am the inside of man, and then you give it to me. I don't need words. Like, I just need the bangers, all right? All right, then number 3 is easily my childhood. Ladies and gentlemen. Boom, 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 boom. It's your main event. Yeah. Let's get ready to rumble.
That was
You're
one of
ready
the
for
classics
this?
of Parramatta.
That is the all-time, like, I hear that song and I'm like, fucking, like, Parramatta. Let's go. Like, and I mean, especially, having a family with them off the front row. You're like, oh, let's go. He's not losing tonight. Anyway, all right. So I just cramped up, eh?
Getting old, mate.
Yeah. All right. And that's number 3. Number 4 might seem a little bit weird, but it's Ain't No Love in Oklahoma by Luke Combs.
Oh, yeah.
That down, and it goes like, oh, everyone's like, oh. That country, like, outlawry type, the boys, And I think if you had the right person gene it up over the mic. Well, I don't know if you need words. And it is a 5th tie, very hard. Hell's bells always, the bells. Dong. And if it's done right, split with the serious Bulls theme song.
Yeah.
You wanted the best, like Johnny Gibson when he rips into that. That's like, yeah, they would be my songs right there. But I definitely need to see Triple H time to play the game. Oh, imagine if they did John Cena. My time is now. You can't see me. My time is now. Bro, the crowd would be pumping. Oi, that would slap. Mr. Franchise, your time is now. You can't see me. My time is now.
You imagine Alex Addard and Ben Matchett if that was those two would be going off in their cars.
You see like Benny on the infield, like, word love. Oh no, he'd be dropping like the tower, like Cena does. Last race of the year, you should rep it. The last time you see me. Not bad. Yeah. Like that song would be John Cena 4 wide. I'm actually going to make that edit just to see if it G's me up.
Yeah.
But I still got to try that Veronica's one. That's just...
Look, I may have been taking the piss.
I don't reckon you were. You were full committed. Full committed.
But I do love the Veronicas when they get going.
Next, you're going to be like, oi, for 4 wide, can I see? She said she was scared, boy. Let's see you later, boy. She wasn't good enough for you. That's what you're going to do next. Like, fuck off.
Nah, a little bit of Susan Boyle before they roll out.
You know what someone said in the comments today was Sweet Caroline. Man,
Nah.
that just wouldn't work. But the sing along, Sweet Caroline, the crowd would be going at it.
Yeah, it would be good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's today's ep. It's our longest one yet. Jesus, smoker's cough. Even though I don't smoke, it's our longest episode yet. We just hit over 2 hours. What pod guys? Are we pod guys yet? Do you feel comfortable? Like, how do you feel doing the pod? Like, are you a pod guy now? I feel like I'm just chill as.
Well, I'm wearing my jocks right now, so I'm comfortable as.
Oh, so should we do the pod like no pants pod?
Yeah.
And
haven't you been doing that?
No, I'm in my jammies.
I've been wearing no pants every time.
I've got my Sharks jammies on. Like, these fuckers, you know what I mean?
I would stand up, but you'd need to blur out some stuff.
I'd have to zoom it in that much, it would go blurry, mate. It's all good. All right, that'll do it.